Who brings this woman to this man? On behalf of Ryan and Garrett, I'd like to thank everyone to coming here today. This is very exciting for me for a lot of reasons. One, a huge narcissist. I just love the attention. But also, I have the honor to bring these two very special people together today. Well, that's like weird. So we all gathered here today to celebrate these two families, the Markses and the Blanzes. We're all here to add our best wishes to the words that shall unite Ryan and Garrett in marriage today. If you'll indulge me, I'll tell a little story of this mitzvah. Okay. It's my first time. So since Ryan has been old enough to take interest in boys, she's always asked me to set her up with one of my friends. She's always thought every single one of them were cute, even if they weren't. I found it a bit silly, but you know, I never paid any attention to it. So fast forward many years later, I opened a restaurant, and if you haven't been there, it's okay, don't worry. We're close tonight anyways. Anyway, I'm on this ladder, and I'm trying to install track lighting, and in walks this guy who's wearing Carhartts, he's covered with dirt, and he's like, hey, I'm looking for a job, and I'm like, whoa, he looks like a construction worker that wants to cook. This is a twofer, I can do this. No problem, and he actually agreed to work and prep with me during the World Series, and that's, you know, that says it all right there. So I hire him, and we toil through curing meat and making pickles and all these mismatched containers. And we finally opened this restaurant, and I think it was around the opening party or a Christmas party or something that Ryan pulls me aside. She's like, "Who is this guy?" And I'm like, that guy is high. I got to see what's going on with him. So they start dating. It's a couple months later, Garrett and I went to a Giants game, and later we're walking home. Garrett lies on the concrete and he screams at me. He's like, "Ian, I'm gonna marry your cousin." And the way he was laying on the concrete, I kind of knew he was serious. So I thought there for a second. I was like, "Hey, do you need a caterer?" Anyway, it's addicting being around you too. I would say that's a good sign of two people that are meant to be together. And just really happy that I have a friend. I'm just happy I have a friend that's going to join this already eclectic family, and I was able to keep a promise to my little cousin. So that's it. Anyway, I'd like to invite Ryan up. Or, I'm sorry, you're Ryan. Better now, I'm fine, everything's fine. Invite Adrian up to say a few words. And Adrian is Ryan's mother.
I think Ian told the story differently than I'm going to tell it, so you can believe whoever you want. 4 pages? No. Kids. I've been thinking about this day for a while now. Not since Ryan has been a little girl, but since Garritt came over to my house about a year ago to ask me if I would approve of him marrying my daughter. I remember being in shock. Ryan getting married? Ryan a wife? Ryan a mother? Ryan my little girl? The next year, 20 years of her life flew by me instantly in my head. A whirlwind tour knocking me over. I gathered myself and looked back at Garrett. I knew at that moment it was not a dream. He really was sitting in the living room chair as I stared at him under an artificial yellow incandescent light. I laughed to myself. A son-in-law to be. I thought I always wanted a son. I had 2 daughters. Right now, here in front of me is a man, not a boy, a man who wants to ask me if it is okay for him to marry my daughter. It felt like a movie. a wonderful guy, someone who wants to take care of her and to share his life with her. Yes! A real man. He even has a J-O-B. He could build and fix things. He is a chef, which means he could cook, since I knew Ryan left that skill behind a long time ago. And he loves Ryan. What could be better? I knew she loved him too, having always heard stories of Blade that sounded like a marriage made in heaven. Again, my thoughts went back to the time I remember they met. Ian, you all know Ian now. How can I leave him out of this speech, because he's the one that brought them together and did the catering and all the other stuff. Anyway, this is my version of the story. He opened a restaurant with a 2-night special dinner event. I brought Ryan the first night. I took pictures, and Ryan took in her eyes delight, today's groom. We stayed late, and I noticed they talked a bit. Mothers notice these type of things. I asked a few questions on the way home to see if she was interested. She gurgled like a teenage girl, and that was that. The next night, Ryan did not make it to Ian's. When I walked in, Garritt came over to me the first thing and asked me where Ryan was. I was surprised and couldn't wait to come home to tell Ryan about his interest. Somehow, beyond my knowledge, Garritt and Ryan found each other again. I have vague memories of their first New Year's Eve together. It must have been good, since they continued their relationship and Ryan moved in. Garritt didn't know Ryan had so many clothes, but he was nonplussed. He relocated his clothes, built a hanging closet in his bedroom, and then shifted his pillow over and found the right amount of space for her. She filled his heart, and he filled hers. A few weeks after my blessing, Garritt told Tali and me, I was very careful that it was me and not I, so, about his plans for asking Ryan the big question. He was taking her away for a 3-day weekend and was going to ask then. All weekend long, Tali and I were sitting on pins and needles waiting for the excited phone call from Ryan. As it turned out, she called several times while we were waiting. While she was waiting for one thing or another. One time, it was about 10:30 on a Friday night, my phone rang. Tali and I were so excited, we thought this was the moment. Enthusiastically, we picked up the phone, only to be disappointed again. We wanted to ask questions, but instead she told us about dinner or some such thing. Tali and I couldn't wait, making silly comments. Perhaps Garritt chickened out. What if he decided it was not a good idea? What if he ran off with the engagement ring? Dave, I'm supposed to have that. The phone rang again, and this time it was the real McCoy. Ryan was totally excited, enthusiastic, and ebullient. Finally, we were able to talk about it, all of us screaming and laughing. The story we told several times. We asked tons of questions, wanting to know all the details. Well, the time passed quickly after the initial meeting. I actually have had the pleasure of seeing the two of them together. They not only get along well, they look good together. I sat down with them a few weeks ago to give them some motherly advice. I wasn't sure how to approach the subject, but they were both open to my statements and to me. I like their approach to the future and all the things they seem to be planning for the rest of their lives, at least as far as their honeymoon. Traveling off to Vietnam. I'm a little jealous that they're not taking me with them, but that's a whole other issue. I know they will do well together. With this said, after all our celebrating today, a few important things will happen. Karen and Dave will have a new, wonderful, talented daughter. I will have a new and wonderful, talented son. And Ryan and Garritt will have each other to create a new, wonderful life for them and their future family. I love both of you. Good luck and congratulations.
I'd like to invite Steve Arboleta up to the stage. I said his last name.
Hi. While attending St. Gregor's Elementary in San Mateo, my best friend and I were inseparable. Although we didn't attend the same high school, we still hung out all the time, and as our worlds grew, we started bringing new people into the fold. He kept telling me about this guy named Garritt, who he affectionately referred to as the White Steve. Only later did I learn that he would refer to me as the Filipino Garritt. Other than the fact that Garritt can't tan as well as my Island 2 affords me. The underlying thought behind those descriptions couldn't be more spot on. At the start of any cliched bromance, our first dude date was filled with anxiety and excitement. I remember Garritt picking me up in his Volvo Coupe Classic, a very cool car for a teenager. We made awkward small talk about girls and music and how we would score alcohol on our way to see the recently reunited Bauhaus at the Warfield. It was a memorable night, not because of how great the band was, but because that was the very first memory I had of our friendship. Who would have thought that such morose lyrics and dark oral landscapes would be, the perfect environment for this blossoming friendship. As it sometimes happens with childhood friends, the guy that introduced both of us fell out of the fold. It's to his credit, though, that he's responsible for the friendship you see here today. From living on Garrett's couch on the weekends in a haze of good times and burritos, to the most recent debauchery at his bachelor party in Florida. The past 17 plus years have been filled with unbelievable memories. And for those of you who don't know, without Garritt, I never would have met my beautiful wife, Anne. I'm grateful to him for the many years of friendship, but I am forever indebted to him for helping me find my life's happiness. A few years ago, Garritt told me he got a job as a chef at Beast in the Hair. When an eligible bachelor in your crew, finds himself in a new situation, sometimes the question pops up, what's up with the girls? He proceeded to tell me about this cute girl named Ryan, who worked there, but he had to tread lightly because she was related to his boss. When he started bringing her around to hang out with us, I knew he was serious because you don't really engage with the female relations of management unless your intentions are pure. Most of you know Ryan, and the things I noticed right away are the reasons why I assume most of you adore her. I thought of her as very considerate, extremely patient and tolerant, especially with this group of guys. As goofy a girl as my wife, and very, very inquisitive. In the early days, she would sit back and observe us all hanging out, the constant ball breaking between all of us. And she would ask in all its sincerity, are you guys even friends? All you do is talk shit to each other. And it was hilarious to me because outside of my wife and my immediate family, I don't know of anyone that I love more than these guys. But it really speaks to the genuine and classic definition of love and friendship that Ryan believes in. Ryan's family, friends, and now Garritt are spoiled with that love, and we should all be so lucky to experience that in our lives. This summer started with our friend Pat and Calorie getting married. I can't think of a better bookend to this summer than being here with Garritt and Ryan, celebrating their wedding and welcoming Ryan to my group of friends.
So now you guys have some vows that you'd like to share? You never know. Brian, would you like to start? Okay. Ladies first.
Yeah. Hi, Brian. Okay. I love you for your beauty, your intellect, your kindness, and for the silly, stupid, and ceaselessly clever ways which you make me laugh. I love the ways in which you inspire me to be a better human and challenge me to grow. I love you for accepting my strengths and weaknesses. I love you. I love the person I have become with you by my side. You're my best friend, my mentor, my playmate, my confidant, and my greatest challenge. But most importantly, you're the love of my life. And for that reason, I make these promises to you. I promise to be faithful and supportive and to always make our family's love and happiness my priority. I promise to be with you in need and in bounty, in sickness and in health, in failure and in triumph. I promise to grow old with you. I promise to laugh with you and only occasionally at you And when I do laugh at you, if it's in public, I'll do my best to make it seem that it's with you. I believe in you, Blabe. I believe in the person that you'll grow to be and the couple that will grow to be together. With my whole heart today, I want to take you as my husband.
I wrote my vows in the form of a poem because my friends don't make fun of me enough. You are the sun and I am the moon. You are the only one to share the sky with me. This promise I will fulfill every day. To relieve you when you need rest. To give stage when it is your time to shine. To settle the pressures of day. And to be up with you all night. For life without you is dark and incomplete. Only you bring light to my day. Only you bring peace. Today is a special day. A day to always praise. The day when the sun and moon come together. With the whole world at gaze.
Garrett, will you place a ring on Ryan's finger? Halfway? Just halfway. Do you, Garrett, take Ryan to be your wife, to be your partner throughout life's obstacles, to shelter when it's cold, to savor the good and laugh at the bad, to fight with pillows? And promise your love to her forever.
Absolutely.
Repeat after me. With this ring, I take you as my wife.
With this ring, I take you as my wife.
That's it. Ryan, will you place a ring halfway on Garrett's finger? Do you, Ryan, take Blanz, Garrett Blanz to be your husband, to be your partner through life's obstacles, to shelter when it's cold, to savor the good and laugh at the bad, to fight with pillows and promise your love to him?
I do.
Repeat after me. With this ring, I take you as my husband.
With this ring, I take you as my husband.
All right. So today we take on a new role in your lives. Today, Ryan and Garrett Blanz take on a role in each other's lives. As officiator and witness to this lifelong commitment to each other through your vows and your union today, by the power vested in me by the state of California, I now pronounce you husband and wife. I kiss the bride. Get out of here. Now we're going to head on in to some food and party. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Media tape.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tolly, the very proud little sister of our elegant bride. I want to start by congratulating the bride and groom and thanking all of you for making the journey here today. Also, I want Ryan to know how honored I am to be here right now sharing this special day with her. When Ryan first asked me to be her maid of honor, I felt completely thrilled. But as the big day approached, I was informed that I would be doing a speech. Being shy and absolutely hate talking in front of a group of people, I was trying to think of ways of getting out of it. But have any of you tried saying no to Ryan? So I started thinking about what to talk about. And the only thing that I could think of was how much, when we were growing up, I just wanted to be with her. She was, and still is, the coolest person in the world for me. I remember sitting outside her door when she had friends over, just waiting to be invited in. It meant the world for me, and I can still recall the excitement I would get at the moment she opened the door. Being the older sister that she is, she would always include me as best as she could. I'll never forget all the adventures we took and all the laughs we had when we were little girls. Especially since she made that hard to do ever since the trip we took when she decided to change her laugh and got stuck with the unforgettable one she has today. Good luck, Garritt. I loved every moment of our growing up. We did have a few fights here and there, but I wouldn't trade those memories for anything. And I can honestly say I wouldn't be half the person I am today if I didn't have her as a big sister to look up to and watch after me. I'm proud to call her my big, little sister. As for Garritt, I never knew Garritt before he and Ryan began to date, so I don't have any embarrassing stories about him, but I can say that I think he's the perfect match for my sister. Garritt is very laid back, which I find remarkable since he also happens to be the busiest person I know. He's easy to talk to, and he has a great sense of humor. We are very happy to welcome Garritt into our family. We love him very much, and I hope he loves us. I've always wanted a brother, and I can't think of anyone better than him. When I look at Ryan and Garritt, I feel so many emotions. I'm positive that Ryan has found her true match, and I know that their marriage will last forever. I know you two have a wonderful adventure ahead of you, and I can't wait to see the love you two share become a family. I thought about the words of advice I'd like to give the newlyweds and found a few things that I think are really wonderful. 2 secrets of a long-lasting and happy marriage are good sense of humor and a short memory. Separately, you are 2 special and remarkable people, but together, you are complete. As you sit side by side through this roller coaster of life, remember to scream from the peaks, hold hands through the dips, laugh through the loops, and enjoy every twist and turn, for the ride is much better when you share it together. My greatest wish for Ryan and Garritt are that they have a continued loving friendship and partnership, that they have success and laughter, that they are blessed with children, or not, and a lifetime of happiness. Please raise your glasses while I toast the bride and groom. Take each day and cherish your time together. Love one another and laugh together. Put your love and family first, and your job and hobbies second. May your love be like the wind, strong enough to move the clouds, soft enough to never hurt, but always never ending. So here's to love, laughter, and happily ever after. Cheers.
Thank you, Tolly, sister of the bride. I've got lots of embarrassing stories about, especially Garritt, but also Ryan. They're totally inappropriate, so I'm not going to tell them, but I'll be happy to share them one-on-one with all you. I'm very sociable and likable. Just come on, say hello. But next up, Chris Clark longtime friend of Garrett, is going to perfectly navigate the embarrassing stories.
Hello. Before I get started, I'd like us all to appreciate and raise our glasses to Karen and Dave, Kate, Ian, Tolly, and Adrian for making what has already been a great night, very special and a very important night. So thank you very much to them.
Love and memories. And I'd like everybody's attention. Aren't we all here to shower our love on Garrett and Ryan? Isn't this the beginning of memories that will last for a lifetime? I'd like to share with you something that I hope you'll remember and will last a lifetime. Some of you will remember these words, and some of them you will think them with me. They mean a lot to me because I know that for all of us, memories are what live on through eternity forever, no matter what. There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places have their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all.
All right, thank you. We've abstained too long. It's time to get inappropriate. The bar is open.